Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Okay, welcome to the long-awaited MISA event. My name is Emil, and I'm Communications Executive at NDBC. So, after much preparation, we are glad to be here for the day program. I want to give a warm welcome to all the finalists, and also the judges, Riduan Rahman from MIDA, Kuan from TMF Group, and Sashi, Ambihaipahan, who will be joining us in a couple of minutes from BMW Group Malaysia. Now, a few notes to start. In order to not interrupt the presentations, we ask you to turn your phone to silent and save your questions for the end of the presentation. Also, a quick reminder, there's no eating or drinking allowed in this room, so I hope you understand. Welcome, welcome. Please take a seat on the second row. Thank you. Okay, so this will be a hybrid event, meaning that participants and judges may join online as well as be present with us here. So each presenter will get 5 minutes to do their presentation, and after this presentation, we will get a Q&A session, which will give the judges, first of all, the opportunity to ask a question, and if there is time left, then anyone in the audience can ask a question if they feel the need to. The speakers will be given this microphone and also a clicker to navigate to navigate the slides that they provided. Now, my colleague in front here is the person in charge of the time. You will see a sign that he holds up, starting from 2 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds. Please note that he will ring a bell when the time is up. So be mindful of this in order to keep things moving smoothly. Alright, so one of the main goals of MISA this year is to celebrate the contributions to new Dutch small and medium-sized enterprises. So with that out of the way, I would like to announce this category, the Outstanding Dutch Investor in Malaysia SME Edition. Now, unfortunately, we are waiting for ATT, but let us move on, or we are waiting for Actiforce, so let us move on to the next company, Brunel Energy Malaysia, Ganesh Arunuga.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. So I've got 5 minutes, about 5 slides, 5 slides, very straightforward. You can see the 5 locations, right? This is what we did in multi-complex project on a single contract. The project background is a 15-well connection to an FPSO, floating production storage, right? Offshore production storage. It was $3 billion, such a complex project, cuts across 5 different countries, 2 continents. And what makes it more complex, this was delivered during the COVID period, NCO. There was a lot of challenges during that period. Mobility, resources, finding specific engineers. So Brunel was awarded to deliver this. Brunel, as a company, I will explain in the last slide. Now I'm going to talk about project, what made us successful, what was the success story behind this, and what we gained from that, right? So, as a solution, you can see that I quickly put the challenges, the needs for the client, how we address such things, and how did we deliver this, right? See, these are the key sectors they were asking, mobility, engineering, then work permits, because we are resource professional services company, right? Not only manpower. We manage the project to deliver within the time, within the budget, and client was MISC, largest FPSO producer at the time, right? Their first maiden project in Brazil, and this is critical wells, yeah. So the services that we provided, all that listed below there, we can go deep. 5 minutes not enough. I quick put a note there. You can see if you want to ask me questions on that, you can touch. I can learn more on it. Yeah. So our commitment was to deliver project visibility reporting, applying the best practice and processes, right? Because there were a lot of countries that were involved in that. If you look at my earlier slide, Brazil, they have their own legislation, the quality, the engineering services requirement. Then we had India, Central of Excellence, the engineers being done. China was doing a lot of manufacturing, and also fabrication centers were there. So Malaysia, we had engineering center, excellence center as well, and also in Indonesia. So to bring all this together during the COVID period was a huge challenge for us. And that's where this slide, we apply the best practices on that, and how do we benchmark within the industry best standards, because we are talking about an offshore integrity, right? We are looking at some of the biggest challenge we had was finding hard engineers. Countries were fighting, like Korea was a FPSO builder. At that time, there were a number of assets being deployed, yeah? And what we got out of that was for performance. We got good results out of that. We delivered on time. We saved costs, time optimization. Our safety compliance, the LTE accident was 0. We maintained the leadership in that. Yeah. A quick word on Brunel. It was founded in 1975. It's not a daily company. We have offices around the world. It's close to $1 billion company. But this is our global one. The one that delivered this was Brunel, Malaysia. We delivered this. Yeah. With connecting with the whole team. And some of the key areas they specialize on, right? Life science, renewables, infrastructure. We deliver such things, right? And what's the key thing within our industry is HSE. I don't know how many of you are from oil and gas industry. This is one of the key facts we have in oil and gas industry. HSE, we deliver a 0 incident. Thank you.
Use the mic.
Yeah, you can shoot call for it.
Yeah.
Your name? Sashi. Yeah.
Good afternoon. So my name is Sashi. I'm from BMW Group Malaysia. Very interesting project, especially during the pandemic, and it was delivered from the local office.
Local.
But what would you say is the key learning that the local office and the teams that worked on that project took away from working in that condition, and how has that implicated and changed the organization for how they work on the future projects?
I would contribute to communication and collaboration with the team across the globe that we had, because finding resources, like I said, is the biggest challenge. Some of the specific skills need to be deployed in China, which visa was an issue at the time. So some of the key things we learned is how to get the right engineers and try to match it. If you can work remotely or fly them into areas that allows, because some of that was PNCs, so Singapore was a bit more destination, Malaysia. So some of the things we work dynamically, so we address on the fly. Say this some of take backs rather than saying no, try to address finding alternative ways to deliver such complexity. At the time, most countries in the world were not allowing employees doing their visas. It was near to shut down. And thanks to Zoom, what a biggest thing, right? It helped us, communication and collaboration was the key takebacks we had from that. Yeah, that's key plus points.
Thank you.
You're from zero.
No, thank you.
Hey, you're from?
Thank you. I'm Michiel from the Netherlands Embassy. Thanks for your presentation. And I was wondering if you could say a bit more about the innovation that was required to deliver this specific project, and also how you see that really impacting your organization in the more longer term.
Alright. Innovation, if you look at the project itself, it's very precious to MISA. It's their maiden FPSO project, right? And they didn't want to have the people on their books as well. So they put them in Brunel, and we had to manage that. Again, if you look at the second slide deck, which I released on the site there, if you look at the insurance and loading, the certification of the engineers, it's very complex to handle, right? So we managed to deliver that with all this complexity, right? By thinking creatively, right? One of the things which I said, collaboration, communication, it helped us to navigate this, because some of the engineers, it's so difficult to get the skill sets, right, in demand, and they can't fly out. India had a lot of engineers as well, so we had to work in tandem on the communication part, mostly on the e-communications. That was really helpful. And also the visa issues were one of the biggest challenges we had. We had very strong communication with immigration, getting them approved. Some couldn't. So we had to think, which some of the things is more collective to ourselves. How do we get around that? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Riduan from MIDA. I just have one question. In your submission, you mentioned that last year you have already reached net zero as a company. Can you explain a little bit more about the specific efforts undertaken to reach that goal?
The last slide, yeah. Which are you talking about?
In your submission, sir.
Yeah. I think if you turn to the side.
In your submission, sir.
Our objective, as a Brunel, as a company, we have gone and acquired sustainable companies, more of green energy companies, right? The objective is to go away from traditional energy business, more of a wind technology. So we have acquired companies in Australia and Europe to move away. So in that area, we have achieved. Yeah? As a Brunel, as a company, we are moving towards that goal, net zero intention to 2040. So the carbon footprint has to be reduced, and being a Dutch company, I think we are very driven into that goals. So, and a lot of questions there.
I'm Riduan from TNF. You actually won a contract from MISA, which covered 5 countries. So I noticed that out of these 5 countries, 2 countries based on TNF GBSAT context is pretty difficult to operate: Brazil and China.
Oh, it's not easy.
So can you elaborate how you actually drive ESG in this country, because you are in people solution?
Yeah, driving ESG to sustainable challenge in China. But as you know, this is very unique time. It's during pandemic COVID. We had Brunel offices in China and in Brazil. So one of the things that we did was to hire locally. Again, manpower resources is the biggest challenge, especially in Brazil. We have people who have to speak Portuguese and certain credentials to specify. So we defined it. We collaborated with our partners and our companies' offices in the country to get this delivered. So basically, that's how we sustain the local talent requirement, and also try to reduce development from India, Jakarta, and Singapore. So mostly focus on local, but the biggest challenge, like I told you earlier, visas, approval. Some of them we have to fly. Some of the key elements, right? Some of the project managers are from Korea, so for them to get visas was the biggest challenges and all that. So we navigate that. Eventually, the government was supportive as well on areas, immigration departments, So because it's very Meru 3 is the project name. It's very crucial for Brazil. Very crucial because it produces about 600,000 barrels. So for them, they have to mitigate that.
Can you elaborate a bit more on this work-life involvement? Because since you're in people business,
What?
the work-life involvement.
Work-life balance. That's not really Brunel. It's a Shell thing. It's a Dutch thing, I think. Work-life balance basically.
Unfortunately, we have to move on.
It's not me. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Alright, thank you so much. Okay, up next from Enza, Zaden, Asia, Cheryl.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm a marketeer. I was a plant breeder before, and today I will share with you a story about a vegetable seed breeding company at Malaysia. And this is what I'm talking about. This is a vegetable seed. And our vision is to breeding to feed the world. And from a Dutch company, it's already 3-generation family company. They start their vegetable seed breeding business and research since 1938. Currently, we are at present at the 6th continent of the world with the commercial entity and with our research entity. Basically, what we are having right now is every year we have 100 variety, or you can imagine as a product. We have 100 variety released in the market to give a solution to the market. And currently, we have 1,200 variety in our catalog. And we are breeding for 30 crop right now, globally. What we are doing currently is we are doing breeding for vegetable, and it requires long vision of work. And you imagine one variety seed here is required 6 to 10 year development in the process, and it will start from a selection or a crossing from a nature-based selection and crossing with the advanced technology help in our pipeline to speed up the process. And basically, we are breeding, focusing and aiming to give added value and solve the challenge from the value chain stakeholder, for example, global, trader, retailer, and consumer. Innovation is our key, and currently we are investing continuously around 30% of our turnover globally to innovation work in the people and in the project, in the research itself. And one of the examples that we would like to share with you about the innovation and how we reduced the 6-year breeding program to 2 years during the COVID time when we're facing the challenge. And this is the story about a resistant variety to TOBFRV disease, is a disease name. And this is a virus present at the Middle East and Europe part of the world. And the disease, you can imagine exactly like COVID. It spread very fast, and it go to the farmer field, and it's just wipe out the whole farmer location during that period. And it was only confirmed and identified since 2015. And during the process of development, a new variety to resist this disease, it started just right before the COVID. And that time we have the challenge, we cannot go to the farmer field, we cannot visit a customer, get the feedback, etc. And how we gone through these whole challenges, that is a story that we want to share. And from this experience, during 2020, we have released a high resistant variety in the market. And what we are going to bring to Malaysia right now is we already present here more than a decade. We have already invested more than 100 million in this country for research and commercial entity. This is our office in Penang. This is our logistic hub. This is our 20-hectare research station for all the local crop breeding and research. And we are also conducting this is the 2020 last year grower field day to ensure we are breeding something that can fit the grower challenges and market requirement. We also already grounded in this country 150 million lettuce seed growing every year, not included the other crop right now, last two slides. And we also realize our genetic synergy very well with the local climate and local practice. So we are going to continue our work here to breeding to feed the world. Thank you very much. By the way, I'm Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl. And maybe before we start, and I also pass the word to my fellow judges, I've been given clear instructions by the big boss, Marco, that we have to be careful of our time. So I'm going to try also to limit my own time spending asking questions. But I was wondering if you could go a bit more into the environmental impact of Enza Zaden specifically, with the focus maybe also on your work here in Malaysia.
So basically, we are already in the green business. We are breeding the new variety to reduce the water usage, to reduce the fertilizer usage itself. Our setup of our logistic hub, office, and our research station that you saw just now, we also implement some environmental friendly approach. For example, we have solar panel for all the entity. We recycle the water, rainwater for our farm use. The river is next to us. We are using those river as well. We control our fertilizer and chemical usage in our farm by using the manure from the local village, and we make our organic manure ourselves as well in our breeding program. We set up our own greenhouse, but our greenhouse is natural without any electricity requirement because the heat is natural input from this climate. We just use some ventilation to control the temperature that we require in the greenhouse. So that is currently what we are doing right now in Malaysia.
Thank you, but how about people, the people that work on the farms?
Okay. We only have 4% expat, so most of the people are local. Malaysia we recruit. More than 80 of them are locally Malaysian, and more than 40 of them are white collar. And the local recruit worker, they are only from Malaysia. We didn't recruit any single foreigner worker in our farm to do the operational work. And the way we are taking care of them, of course, beside the Malaysian labor law that we need to follow, like for example, the innovation part, every Friday from the farm team to the research team, they will have the space of time to implement their ideas and innovation to improve their work. Therefore, it will stimulate their work satisfaction as well. We also take care, because we are in a place called South. I think if even you are Malaysian, you may not know this place as well. It's 30 kilometers from Kuala Kangsar. So we are also taking care of our employee and their family as well by supporting and giving scholarship to their kids itself. So this is how we take care of the people at here.
Yeah, I think maybe you can also elaborate a little bit more about your efforts to develop local farmers to be part of your supply chain, and of course when we talk about local farmers, you also need to, how do you ensure that they also adopted best practices, for example fertilizers and so on?
Basically we are a vegetable seed company doing the breeding for new variety. Our effort and the place that we can influence is through our genetic. And first of all, our genetic is non-GMO, and we will not go into the GMO business, that is for sure. So what we are aiming to do to help the farmer is we try to breed something which is lesser chemical use or better control and climate adaptability variety for local. For example, lettuce. Lettuce, I think Malaysians know this is not local leaf. We are eating pak choy, kai lan and all this leaf. but letter is from foreign, and we try to bring letters from a cool country to a hot climate. Therefore, you need heat-resistant variety. Instead of you building a heat control or climate control greenhouse, therefore we introduce heat-resistant letters to grow somewhere at midland, highland, Cameron Highland, and Genting, therefore to supply the local requirement. So that is one example that we are trying using our way to help the farmer.
How the profit, maybe in terms of percentage, do you actually put back into the ESG practice?
Okay, so
How was the profit, maybe in terms of percentage, you put back in ESG practice? ESG, yeah.
I do not have that answer for you for this. So probably I can attend this question later. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. All right, Cheryl, thank you so much. Our next presenter from HITTECH Wemac, Paul.
Members of the jury, ladies and gentlemen, I can see you clearly, but I cannot see my notes. When I wear my glasses, I cannot see you clearly, but I can see my notes, so please allow me to wear the glasses. My name is Paul, I'm presenting HITTECH Wemac. We are a contract manufacturer located in Batu Kuan, Penang. I'll make it short and sweet, hopefully, talk about the past, then talk about the present, which is on the topic number 3, to unleash the potential of the people, and then I'll talk a little bit about the future. For the audience, HITTECH Wemac became a member of the group in 2012. It was founded as a local company in precision machining in 2006. We also added on value-added assemblies. Currently we have a headcount of 64. We have 16 CNC machines and some more CNC machines are already on order, supposed to be placed somewhere April to July. We serve customers in Asia, Europe, newly recruited US, and I'm targeting Australia as the next market. For you to understand what's contract manufacturing machining, just a couple of pictures of machine parts with service treatment and a few pictures of the so-called value-added assemblies. So the parts we machine our own, we buy standard parts, and then we do value-added assemblies for the customer. So what is the impact Wemac has done, or HITTECH Wemac has done as a Dutch investor in Malaysia over the past years? Pictures speaks more than words. What you see on the left side, or from your side on the left side, I call it those days. And our current facility, I talk about these days, or today. The same investment was done for buildings, so we moved from a humble beginning, a couple of shop lots in Bukit Minyak to Batu Kawan in a proper facility, 29,000 square feet. These are the changes. Those days, in a very humble beginning, we've done rather few processes, CNC machining, which is on the technology map, to the right side, machining related, and deburring and polishing, which is needed because there are burrs after the machining. Today, we increased our offerings and our capabilities quite significant. Obviously, our corporate management is willing to invest into machinery, into buildings, into processes, so the monetary aspect is taken care of. But what are you doing with the good hardware if the software is not ready? So I focus on people. And purposely I call them people, not employees. An employee is to me a person on a payroll, which has a number. We work with people. In the presentation here, using the 5M approach and 1E, I want to focus on two topics, people and the methods. Yeah, money is important for everyone, but high salary doesn't solve the problem. To us, we created a concept, a long-term partnership system, whereby employees decide a large part of their remuneration. We added systems like travel incentives, which have certain conditions in the years of service to the company and your attendance. So the employee finally makes a decision to earn more while hanging in with the company for some years and also having good attendance record. We also added in a core team membership program, which is similar to EPF. We just call it a private retirement scheme. Same thing, the longer you work for us, the more you earn in the long term. On the methods, we created this Wemac family, 64 people we can do as a family, that's okay. A large company, 3,000 head count, cannot do that, but we can do it. We had a concept like efficiency, effectiveness, and electronic filing, and you have no idea what it means to people if you don't put the paper for them to sign, run to the company, find each and everyone to sign, and over sending emails. They were very, very proud when we exported software knowledge from Malaysia, developed in-house with our team to our counterparts in Malaysia, in our sister companies to Europe. And how is the impact on that? What you see is the so-called absenteeism, and the company Malaysia, which runs on all these medical leaves and absenteeism and unpaid leave in less than around 1%, it proves the point we are on the wrong track. We are on the right track, sorry. We are not wrong, we are on the right track. So, point on the horizon, committed to what we have done till now. We are not stopping over here. We are going to add on a bit more, which is already defined in our 3 to 5 years plan. My apology, I cannot tell you exactly what we're going to do, but the plans are there. And most important thing is our point of horizon. We know where to go, not only as a company, but also as a sustainable investor in Malaysia. Thank you very much.
It's quite an insightful presentation, but I'd like to know a little bit more. You spoke a lot about people and the new processes. Will you be, how is it changing I think it's the last slide. Two questions actually. One is about this new process.
Right.
How will it involve the people in the organization today? And how it's going to change the organization. And the last slide, you speak a lot about a commitment to sustainability and the future.
Right.
And what are the elements you do?
Right. So, as I mentioned earlier, definitely the so-called monetary commitment of corporate management in Netherlands is there. So how we want to achieve all this so-called, I call it the software, the people. Whatever new process you introduce in a company, you have to have the people to it. And to me, it's a full circle. We ask the people to deliver, we give them something extra. To achieve what we plan over here, I need a headcount, a reliable source of knowledge in the company for 3 to 5 years. And we understand from the recruitment cycle, the first year a new employee is kind of new, so we say, okay, let's see what it is. The second year employee says, that's maybe not so the place I want to be, or eventually in the third year the employee settles in comfortably and say, not everything is good in a company, but it's good enough for me to stay. And if we can reach this 3 years hurdle, 2 to 3 years hurdle, to bind people by commitment of the company, then You can go into all the fields, whatever you define as a company. And that's our approach. So it's a kind of a 360 degrees. So, does this answer your question?
The next one about environmental impact. You in this area, what do you think is the environmental impact of the region?
Well, see, we are committed to all regulatory and statutory requirements, and also from the ethical point on doing business there. As far as waste, what we produce, we recycle with authorized companies in Malaysia. The main waste we're producing are metal chips, which can then be recycled, smelted again, and turned into raw material again. The second one is coolant and oil coolant from the machine. This we're going to properly dispose with a company which is licensed. They're operating on the east coast of Malaysia. That's quite an expensive thing to do. One drum is around 600 ringgit to recycle and dispose, but we are doing that. So as far as impact concerns, I don't think so. Is not something which we wanted to neglect, but not something which is impact like the heavy chemical. We don't deal with that. The other one is also in the use of resources. We are looking in electricity. We have sensors installed, movement sensors in the company that light is switched off, in particular at night, as we're running a 24 hours operation there. So that's what we can do on our side.
Your business is not labor intensive, yeah? Based on my understanding, is what you have with us, and also you're talking about long-term partnership system. It's more for those business not labor intensive. How you see from this company innovation process integrated in your business model?
Yeah. Of course, we are not as labor intensive, let's say, like agriculture, which just was presented by our colleague over here. As a small company, you need to have experts in certain positions. I cannot afford to have 3 machine planners and 5 engineers just as a backup. So I just don't have the money to pay for that. So that comes down to the question: how do I retain that particular person for a very long time? And that's what we do. We ask our people to be innovative and to come up with ideas. And the advantage what we have as a small and medium enterprise is with 64 people, we can easily change the processes, not by a snap of a finger, but we can do that. Larger company, 2,000, 3,000 people, you cannot daily change your processes. That's a complete haywire. And we're drawing exact on that advantage. What I mentioned, the so-called export of knowledge from Malaysia to our sister colleagues. One part in our industry is to measure parts. We have a coordinate measurement machines which runs over products and takes certain measurement points. And a year ago, we had a person on a computer keying in data for 24 hours. What you measure, you print, you read, you key in. Today, it is fully automated. We developed something in a special process using just Microsoft Excel, but on a very, very high level, to take text files, put it into the server, press a button, and the report is generated. So from this highly frustrated inspector, because when you key in data for 24 hours a day, there will be errors. And what is the human normal reaction on errors? It is your mistake. You made a mistake. But we consider the load of that person, and now the machine does the process. So this will help a lot, not only reducing time, but also the satisfaction of the people. When we talk about inspection report today, everyone says, okay, I'm going to do it. A year ago, who's giving the report? Everyone feels sick, tired, and a lot of excuses. So this is the impact and the benefit which we give to the people. Does it answer your question? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay, then we have one more person joining us online. Kuan from Actiforce Mechatronics. Can you hear us, Kuan?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Let me, you're able to share the screen, right? I'll put it up for you.
Okay, you have my presentation, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So this looks like a proper presentation indeed.
All right, Kuan, go ahead.
Yes, it's ready?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for being a bit later. We had today some customer visits, so we couldn't make it any earlier today. So I just wanted to share a short story about Actiforce and particularly focus on our impacts to the environment, what we are trying to achieve here, and what we are doing with bringing knowledge and research work to Malaysia. Next slide, please. So first thing that we wanted to start with for today is that we use a very low amount of plastics in our packaging. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, maybe it's just behind the video. But in terms of the weight, 0.004% of our packaging is made out of plastics. And the plastics that we use, we get from something called the Plastic Bank. And the Plastic Bank is an initiative where people are being paid in very low-wage countries where there's a lot of pollution with plastic. They get paid for collecting the plastic and it gets certified and manufactured into plastic bags, and those we use again. So although we are using plastic, and at the moment we still have to use plastic, we pick to use a plastic that at least gives back as well, and it is recycled. At the same hand, our packaging is also FSC certified. So for the rest of our package, we use only cardboard that has all been certified by FSC. With that, we also make sure that we don't use any foam, PE foam, other foams in our packaging. So we use alternatives that are FSC approved, making sure that our packaging is at least still not too much of an impact to the environment. The next slide, please. So not only packaging, we make it sustainable, but we also try to do it with any product that we can find. And in this case, one of the products that is also for us a really good seller in Europe is our bamboo drawer. So we have a range of bamboo desk accessories. Bamboo drawer is one of them, where the bamboo itself, again, is sustainably sourced. And with that, we make sure, again, that our impact on the environment is small. So the other thing that we see in this picture is our award-winning Elements desk. And this is one of the most sustainable and eco-friendly desks there is in the market. Also, again, due to the packaging, due to the accessories, but also due to the construction, because we use, in this case, the whole tabletop as part of the frame of the electric table, where normally you would use a separate frame and a separate tabletop. So by integrating them, we save in terms of weight, and in that sense save in terms of transportation. Next slide, please. So one of the main things that we are doing is height adjustable tables. And the good thing about a height adjustable table is that it promotes healthy living. There's still many people around the world that use a fixed desk, meaning that in the end of the day you have been sitting for 5 hours and you go out for lunch, or if you eat at your desk, you might have been sitting for 9 hours, excluding the toilet breaks. So what we are promoting, of course, is to make sure that people can sit and stand. So this is our main product that we are selling, to make a height adjustable table. So you sit half an hour, put up your desk, stand half an hour and work, go back to the sitting position, and we even have functions in our electronics that help trigger you to remind you to go from these one positions to the other. Next slide, please. So then a little bit of information about what we have been doing in Malaysia on the R&D side. We currently have our full R&D in Malaysia. So we started with an R&D team back in 2010 of 2 employees, and that grew over the years, and now we are at about 25 engineers that are in Malaysia only. We had last year still 2 R&D engineers in Germany, but we completely stopped there and we brought everything to Malaysia. So all our R&D development is now done in Malaysia. That means we spend per year roughly 4 million ringgit on our R&D, and with that also we invest in all kinds of new machinery to increase the efficiency of our product lines and to make it easier for people to work with the assembly line. There was a lot of manual in the past, but in the last 3 years we spent around 15 million ringgit just to make sure that we bring in machinery that makes it easier to manufacture what we manufacture. The next slide. Okay, next to that, I'm sorry the chart is flipped, but most on the right the oldest, on the left the newest. We are still always trying to locally source our products. We do buy a lot of items that go into our desks, and we continuously try to bring more and more to Malaysia. So at the moment we bring around 175 million ringgit per year into the region, and that started years ago with a very small amount, and now it's at this amount, and it is, and 81% of that we source actually within Malaysia, so also helping the local economy to go along with us on this journey of making these height adjustable desks. Next slide. So here we have one more information about the plastic bank. Here you can see an idea what happens with the plastic bank, so where we use our plastic from. Here in Indonesia, people collecting plastic at the beach, actually getting paid for it. Normally they would not be able maybe to find a job to have a decent income, but in this way they do get a decent income. The plastic itself is remolded, turned into packaging, and we use the packaging to send the products to the customers. So I have one more slide. Next slide, please. I think I will not play the video because that maybe takes a little bit too long and we run out of time. But just to show you what we are also sponsoring is the Black Jaguar Foundation. So we have certain frames that are completely in black, and where we have an agreement, a cooperation with the World Wildlife Foundation. For every frame that we sell, money goes to the WWF. This came through one of our old shareholders. He had a really close connection with that, and we have been sponsoring this for many years already. But I would like to tell you all to go and watch the video on our website because it is a really nice video. Okay, I think that was my last slide. So I think there will be some questions from the audience.
Yes, some questions from the judges.
This one's on. So thanks, Kuan, Michiel here from the Netherlands Embassy. Thanks for your presentation. You mentioned that your R&D facilities or your R&D is happening here in Malaysia. Could you expand a bit more on what exactly you're working on? What kind of innovations are you doing? And how is that also compared to, for example, what competitors are doing?
So what we do, okay, originally we started with just one height adjustable desk. What we are looking at and what is one of our focuses is also to see how we can reduce the weight of our desks. It's one very important topic for us. With that also reducing our impact again on the environment. So what we're trying to do is with a reduced weight offer the same feeling for the product, the same stability, the same functionality, but then with a lower weight. That is one of the things we are focusing on. We are also insourcing all our electronics design. So all our electronics design is now done in Malaysia. In the past, they were all bought concepts from overseas. So we brought them all back in. And we can also work together here in Penang really well with the manufacturers here, because of course this is a big industry here in Malaysia, especially in Penang. So another thing that we are doing in R&D is automation, looking at what in our process can we automate, again to make it a bit easier for our workers to work on the line and also increase the output. Let me see. We are also working at the moment on sensor development. What you see in our world is that the desk, when it hits something, currently the standard is that when it hits something hard, then it will stop moving because they're electronically moving desks. But we are now working on very sensitive sensors that can really feel the slightest collision to make our product again safer for everybody. What we are also developing is we are doing a lot of studies in vibrations, especially to look at how to make our desks more silent. At the moment, we have the most silent desk in the world when it comes to height adjustable desks. The fixed desks we cannot beat yet. They don't make any noise. But in that sense, we are working on many of these things. One of the other interesting things that we are now starting on is simulations of how the metal warps and twists when we put a strength on it, a force on it, so that we can already see beforehand if our design will work or not, instead of a trial and error type of thing that our engineers, they are following courses now in finite element methods to really figure out how to predict what will happen.
Hi, Mr. Kuan. I'm Riduan from MIDA, representing the Malaysian government. Firstly, I would like to congratulate or thank for your effort to increase your local sourcing for parts and components within the country. Do you also, at the same time, do you also have any specific efforts or initiatives to uplift or support this local supply chain to adopt certain level of ESG or SDGs in line with your company's objective? Thank you.
Yeah. So we are starting now actually to do a full carbon analysis on our whole supply chain. Our headquarters is also working that out for the whole group. So from there, we will also start to work together with our suppliers and to figure out how we can reduce the carbon impact of our whole supply chain. And with that also more and more on labor practices, and we are now starting to work with a piece of software. I have to look up the name again, I forgot that one, but where suppliers can all start to do online audits, and the nice thing about the system is that anybody can see the audit of any supplier, so that we get a very transparent system where you can see at what level a supplier is with respect to labor laws, safety, whatever is in the chain, also the carbon impact of the supplier. And with that, we are trying to move our whole product into a way more sustainable product than what it is today.
Okay, no more questions. All right, thank you, Kuan. Thank you so much.
I can't hear anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kuan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, that was the end for this block. I would kindly redirect you to the gallery for some refreshments, and we will be back with the next block shortly.